Madam President, it's a pleasure to see you and a pleasure to see you in this role. Today my country is running again for a seat as a non-permanent member of the Security Council for 2027-28 term. We do so at a time of unprecedented instability and upheaval. In Sudan and neighboring countries, we are witnessing the worst humanitarian catastrophe of our time. Over 30 million people in need of humanitarian assistance. Over 12 million forced to flee their homes. We all need to do more to end this tragedy. The security of the entire region is on the line. The terrible war in Gaza is raging on. Hell on earth. A humanitarian nightmare as we speak. This war must end. The hostages must be released. The existence and the security of Israel will always be part of our raison d'etre. There must be a future in peace and in dignity for all in the Middle East. As we have reaffirmed in this hall this week, 2 states for 2 peoples, the only solution. I commend all those who continue to work tirelessly to find a path to peace, notably the United States of America. Excellencies, Iran has created and armed a network of malign proxy forces destabilizing the region. In addition, it has for many years been engaged in a nuclear program which goes far beyond any plausible civilian use. For us, it is imperative. Iran must never acquire a nuclear weapon. Since Iran clearly does not comply with its obligations under the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action agreed to in 2015, we had no choice but to trigger the snapback of sanctions. Following a clear vote by the Security Council yesterday, sanctions will be effective later today. But let me emphasize, we remain open to negotiations on a new agreement. Diplomacy can and should continue. And on my own continent in Europe, Russia is waging a war of aggression against its sovereign neighbor, Ukraine. A war that Ukraine did nothing to provoke. A war that demonstrates the disregard for the most fundamental of all rules of the UN Charter, that all member states shall refrain from use of force against territorial integrity of other state, a rule that permanent members of Security Council bear a particular responsibility to uphold. And while our minds are focused on current security and humanitarian crisis, we are aware that they are aggravated by the planetary crisis of pollution, climate change, and biodiversity loss, all of which threaten to bring more instability, more conflicts over resources, more lost lives and livelihoods. Through the support of UNHCR. I know firsthand the risks and the consequences of rising sea levels. And I can assure those whose safety and livelihoods are already endangered by climate change today, we are and we remain by your side. Climate justice means supporting those who are most affected, helping them adapt and address the losses they are already facing. It means significantly reducing emissions globally and keeping the 1.5-degree limit within reach. Germany will be a reliable partner in this. We stand by our target to be climate neutral by 2045. For this opportunity. But it also means we feel particularly responsible. It is out of respect for international law and human rights that Germany works towards the establishment of a special tribunal for the crimes of aggression against Ukraine. That's why we support and defend international courts. That's why we work to protect human rights defenders where they are at risk. We stand by international humanitarian law. Ladies and gentlemen, respect also means reform. After 80 years, we must make sure that our institutions represent the world as it is today. The Security Council needs additional seats, permanent and non-permanent, in order to reflect the world's actual realities. Germany is convinced that additional permanent seats must go to regions underrepresented today: Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Thank you.
I thank the Federal Minister.